Ever feel like your mind won't stop racing with questions, with doubts, with ideas, or the opposite? Maybe you often feel totally spaced out and wonder why you just can't seem to focus. Either way, this might have something to do with your head center in human design. Okay, what is the head center? So the head center is that triangle at the very top of your human design chart. It's one of two pressure centers. The other one is the root. You may want to check my video out on the root center because these two are very similar in some ways. But instead of pushing you to move like the root center does, the pressure that you experience from the head center pushes you to think. So this is where questions and inspiration and doubt and mental pressure start bubbling up. Okay. And the job of the head center is to send that pressure down in through to the other centers so that you can take the appropriate action with it. Okay. So, a quick reminder, I always like to remind people about this. We're going to talk about a defined versus an open head center here, but defined and open aren't better or worse. They're just different ways of processing energy. So, when you understand your own personal configuration in human design, you can stop resisting how your mind works and instead start flowing with it. This is what I mean by human design empowering us to a life of more ease. Okay. So, in general, let's talk a little bit more about the head center. Okay. Think of it as like the cosmic antenna. When your head center is defined, you've got a steady, fixed broadcast of thoughts and questions coming from within. And when it's open, it's like you're picking up mental pressure and ideas from the world around you. Now, either way, your job isn't to answer every question, it's to know which ones are worth following. And this is one of the prime struggles of the head center is knowing where that boundary is. Okay. So let's start with talking about a defined head center. Okay. What is a defined head center? A defined head center is one that's colored in, like the example that you see right here. This defined head center means that you've got a consistent flow of questions, insights, and inspirations always available. You often might be deep in thought, you might be naturally philosophical, and you may feel mentally driven to find meaning or certainty in the world around you. This is great. But what's the difference between a defined head center in alignment versus out of alignment? So, in alignment, you let inspiration move through you without always needing to act. You understand that it's not your responsibility to act on every idea that emerges. Okay. You learn to trust your natural curiosity and allow it to guide your creativity, right? That becomes your compass. Your curiosity is guiding you through. And you also have learned to give others space to be unsure without needing to solve things for them. With this defined head center, you might have this impulse because you've got a lot of power and energy and pressure there. So you might feel this impulse to kind of tell others and share it, right? But when you're in alignment, you know how and when to give others space without needing to solve everything for them. And when you're out of alignment with that defined head center, you may feel mentally overwhelmed by your own thoughts. It's like a storm up there, right? You might get into obsessive mode over questions that really don't have answers, right? And finally, you could also pressure others into thinking or believing like you. You're defined, you're clear, you've got this steady source of pressure. So you think that's just how it is. You've had this thought, this insight. So you try to impose that on others. That's a sign of a defined head center that's not in alignment. Okay. Now, let's talk about the open head center. The open head center is one that's not colored in, like the example that you see up here. This means that you don't generate that mental pressure for yourself. Instead, you absorb it and you amplify the questions, the confusion, and the inspirations from others, from the environment, right? And it can be a lot to hold if you don't recognize what's yours and what's not. This is what's kind of challenging about an open head center is you're going to get flooded with these ideas and these inspirations without many boundaries. All right, the defined head center kind of has this built-in boundary, this sense of identity, right? But the open head center just kind of takes it all in. So it's really important in order to be in alignment to understand where those boundaries are and what's important to chase versus to let pass through. So, an open head center, when in alignment, is open and curious without clinging to every question. It recognizes that not all mental pressure is yours to solve. And it can be incredibly wise about which ideas truly matter. This is the development of discernment, right? But when an open head center is out of alignment, it may begin to chase answers just to relieve the pressure, right? If it gets a little bit uncomfortable with the buildup of pressure, it can start to chase answers. And that energy of desperation is never good, right? And an open head center might also feel overwhelmed by other people's opinions and beliefs, easily swayed, easily persuaded, right? So it's all about those boundaries. It all kind of comes back to those boundaries again and being able to let things pass through without attaching and understanding what's yours to put energy to and what's not. And you could also begin to doubt yourself and think that you should have more clarity. Like those defined head centers tend to emanate a sense of clarity and knowing, and open head centers can kind of feel like, what's wrong with me? Why isn't it that clear to me? Okay. So in closing, go check your chart. Take a look at that head center, that triangle at the very top of your human design chart. Are you defined or open in the head center, right? So this one little triangle can tell a lot about how you handle pressure, how you take in inspiration and mental energy. And it's really important to understand what an aligned versus out of alignment head center looks like for you. Okay. So let me know in the comments about your head center. Is it defined? Is it open? And did this video resonate? Did it shed any light on your life experience? Now that you put it in the context of your head center, let me know. I've got more human design content here on my channel, also over in the Purpose Lab community. And I'd love to have you over there, but I'd love to hear your insights in the comments as well. Thank you.